Now, the tourism industry earns Kenya valuable foreign exchange and also provides direct and indirect employment to thousands, if not millions, of Kenyans who work in the hotel industry, cultural, agricultural and transport sectors. Last year, the sector recorded the highest number of tourist arrivals ever at over 1.09 million tourists as at 31st of December 2010. This was a 15% growth compared to the 952,481 experienced in 2009. Now, the sector earned 73.68 billion shillings in terms of revenue earnings within the same period. This is the highest tourist revenue ever recorded, and it represents an impressive growth of revenue by 18% compared to the 2009 revenues. Now, today the ministry released its first quarter performance results, and to discuss more about this is Najib Balala, the Minister for Tourism. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
We begin with the results that you just released. 15.1% increase as compared to last year, same period. Quite impressive. What attributes this?
Well, first of all, the aggressive marketing that we have done as the Ministry of Tourism and Kenya Tourism Board. And then we have diversified our source markets. So we have gone to new markets. In the last 15 months, we have opened 7 new markets, which is Eastern Europe, which is the old Eastern Europe, Poland, which has recorded almost 90%, Czech Republic, Hungary, Slovak. So these areas we've opened an office. Russia, which has recorded almost 50%. And then we have the Middle East, the GCC. We have opened an office in Dubai, which has recorded 40% increase. We've opened an office in India, which is the BRIC economies, which has recorded an 11% increase from India. And then China. China is huge. It has recorded a 34% increase. Japan, Australia, Canada, and we have also considered South Africa. In the last 1 year, we have opened an office in South Africa, not only for tourism, leisure, but also for business. So these new markets we've opened, we've seen the figures have improved. Also, they have grown faster than our traditional markets. That's the UK, Germany, France. And we have seen UK and France has taken too long to recover since the post-election violence. But a market that Italy has done very well, an increase of 22%. So overall, an increase in the last 3 months, January to February compared to 2010, is 15.1%. I estimate by end of the year, we will have approximately between 18 and 20% increase because of our competitors also are not in the market anymore in North Africa. In terms of revenue, we have 73 billion Kenya shilling 2010. I could clearly say that we can reach 100 billion 2011. All
right. And in terms of last year, there was a decrease in the coastal beaches visitors by about 17%, and this was attributed mostly maybe to the traders along the beaches. What is being done about that?
Well, the main problem about the beach destination is the beach operators on the beach. The harassment and the beaches are not clean and not been taken care of. We as government, we are working on a modality to establish markets. So the beach operators can be relocated into the markets. Just around the beach, not outside the beach, is on the road accesses. So that we can be able to help them to get business, but also not to be a nuisance to the clients. That is the program we are developing. But also we have realized most of the investors have not invested enough into the hotels themselves. They are old and tired, and this year most of the hotels in the coast are now refurbishing. Even now, while we are doing the classification process in the cost, most of them have asked for exemption up to September, where we'll be ready when they are fully refurbished. So this is good news for the industry, that we hope that decline in last year will not happen this year.
All right. What else has been done about the beach boy menace? Because it has been very rampant in the tourism sector.
Well, before, we don't know who will regulate the beach boys, because it is general hawking. The Ministry of Tourism has no power legally to do that. I have just passed a tourism bill in Parliament, and we have identified beach operators as a component within the tourism sector. And now what we need to do is to regulate So we license them, we know how many there are, we know what the code of conduct is on the beach, as well as to relocate them from just hawking on the beach, rather to specific areas, designated areas where they will be having kiosks and they do the business.
All right. You mentioned going into new markets, and I believe you've also diversified into new other aspects of attracting tourists into the country. And one of the major things that has been happening part of this year is cultural, fostering cultural trends. How is that coming along and trying to differentiate between going tribal?
Yes. First of all, we are diversifying not only the markets but also the product. And we have seen that Western Kenya and North Rift can be very attractive in cultural tourism, as well as a new product in terms of adventure tourism. So those are the areas we have just accessed. In the Western area, infrastructure and roads has been a problem. The government now has put plans in place to make sure the roads are done, and we are now starting to market those areas. The bullfighting is Malinya Stadium in Ikolomani, Lake Victoria. Interest of new hotels are coming up, and conference tourism is coming up. The North Rift, which I've visited very recently, and we have established the community associations to start working and developing the product. I have been to Lewa and to Mount Kenya to see how best we can support the community-based tourism in terms of opening up the northern part of Kenya up to Turkana. Last weekend we had the cultural festival of Loyangalani, the Turkana people. Yes,
which NTV did comprehensively cover.
And we partnered with you in marketing that area. At the same time, Lamu Cultural Festival. We have always been supportive of Lamu Culture. So these are the festivals we want to establish and say that cultural tourism is important to our people. As well as what we want to do as Ministry of Tourism is to help to finance projects like lodges for community-based organizations. This weekend I'll be going to Ijara, where the community have established a conservancy in partnership with the North Rift Trust of Ole Kaparo, who's the chair, and KWS. And we, as the Kenya Tourism Development Corporation, we are going there to finance the building of the lodge. So these are the programs we are now developing with the community. As well as there are many other projects or products that we can develop. The sports tourism, we support the high altitude training centers in Eldoret and in North Rift, so that we can attract people who are athletics. We support other activities in terms of canoeing and kayaking, the marathon that you see around, and also overseas, the Boston Marathon or the London Marathon. We partner with these institutions so that we can be able to profile Kenya appropriately.
And there's something interesting that you, so the bike riders,
yes,
had
Harley Davidson.
Yes, the Harley Davidson bike riders, they were on transit from Tanzania, and you mentioned something to do. You will be doing that in future with them.
Actually, we initiated that project together. We said, why don't we introduce the bikers around here? Because that is a special market and people want to come. Last week also I launched the Hashers, the Nairobi Hashers, where next year in May we are going to have the Hashers conference for 3 days. We are Hashers 3,000 for fun runners. They'll come into Kenya, and already 1,000 have confirmed from overseas to come to that conference. That's another thing that we are developing as a new product, a new market as well.
All right. What about museums in terms of, I know last year it recorded an increase and registered about 300,000 tourists visiting museums.
The challenge which I'm saying is that there's no coordination among ourselves in government, that museums, we try to work it out, but there's no systematic way of coordinating things together. But yes, museums are part of the attractions and discussions within Kenya. We need to actually promote them much more. Not only promote them to school children locally, but even adults in Kenya needs to be, these museums needs to be promoted too. But also under the circuits and the tour operators packages, museums play a major role. Particularly Mombasa and the Nairobi museums is key to the excursions in Kenya.
All right.